Hi everybody, thanks for tuning into another video on TK's Tech Corner. Today we're going to be taking a look at this dock here. This is a USB-C dock from a company called DroiX and it's model number NH8. And this is basically something you've probably seen before on the market quite a lot, but there's a trick to this, right? So this is like one of these which you can pick up on Amazon or eBay or AliExpress or all sorts of places that you normally do your tech shopping, and your typical C hub, which is going to give you some connectivity on a laptop which may only have C ports on it, some USB-A ports, C's for pass-through for charging, etc., a HDMI port for display out, and a network port. That's typically what you're going to see in these sorts of hubs. They're pretty cheap, they're efficient, they kind of do the job. Depending on the quality, you may or may not get some good speeds out of them. But this is a product like this, but it's pretty much on steroids. Maybe an exaggeration, I don't know, but it is definitely a lot more feature packed than your average USB-C hub. So we're going to crack it open, we'll take a look at it, we'll do some tests on it, and while I do that, I'll just talk through the specification of this to explain what it is that's actually making this one stand out for me compared to the rest. So I'll just show you the back here. It's an 8-in-1 USB-C hub. It's got two USB-C Type-C, USB 3.0 ports on it for pass-through rather than the one that you're seeing here. It's got one USB-A port on it, and it's also got HDMI out, and it's stated to support 4K at 60 Hz. An Ethernet port, which is going to give you, it's a gigabit Ethernet port, so it should give you, well, depending on the connection or the speed of the actual cable, we might get a gigabit of LAN out of it as well. And then you've also got the big feature on here is the NVMe slot. So it can host up to a 2280 NVMe drive, and we'll test that out as well. And it's also got a card reader. So it's got an SD card slot for a standard SD card and a micro SD card as well. So two bonuses there over, or big bonuses there over this standard one here. So I'm just going to get that out of the way. We'll compare it for size in a minute. I'll get that out of the way as well so I don't cut myself. Safety first. Let's get this out of the box. Right. Now, a bit larger because it's going to host the NVMe drive, as you can expect. A bit larger than what we've got here. So you can see it's going to take up a little bit more real estate on your desk or in your bag whilst you're carrying it around. But it's not huge. You can see that there, it fits nicely in the palm of my hand. And it's got a very nice solid build feel to it. From this perspective, this is pretty much similar sort of setup here, where you've got a cable which is fixed into the device, so it's not changeable. Around the back, nothing. On the top end, where here you've got a network port, here I've got an SD card reader and also a micro SD card reader. This here is going to be the NVMe slot, so that's going to be pretty easy to get in there. You can see they've got rubber pads here, and the reason why there's two rubber pads here is these are going to hold the NVMe disks down, and depending on the size you're using, this might be a 22, I don't know, 60 maybe. This is the 80. This is the longer one that we're going to test out. You can clip your drive in and just spin this thing around, and I assume for a standard size 2280 I should be able to just pull one of these out, I'm guessing is what's going to happen. I'm just going to, well, I probably shouldn't yank it out just yet, but I'm guessing I'm going to have to yank it out to get the standard size disk in there that I want to use anyway. So I'll stop brute forcing that for a minute, close that back up. We'll do a few tests on this. Now, when I initially saw this, one thing came to mind just before I explain that. The two USB-C 3.0 ports I mentioned. You've got a USB-A port as well, again, so these are all 3.0, gigabit LAN, HDMI as well, and that's the whole device. So the thing that came to my mind was, would this serve a purpose as a dock for the Steam Deck? So we might try it out. I don't know how I'm going to test the HDMI output whilst I'm recording this video. I might just record it and leave my feedback in the channel description, so on the video description, just to say whether it worked or not. But I have a feeling it might work, because the Steam Deck is quite flexible like that. But more important than the video out, what I want to see is actually both really, is if I have an NVMe disk in there, can we access it from the Steam Deck? We may or may not try loading games on it depending on how long it takes. So I've got a few things set up here to help test this device out. What we'll do first is we'll start by installing the NVMe drive in there. We'll just see how that goes. I've got a tablet PC here with a capture card attached to it, and the HDMI port, well, the cable ready. So and I've got the Steam Deck here as well. So hopefully what we'll do is we'll put the drive in, we'll test out to see if the storage works, and we'll also connect the HDMI to make sure, we'll just test out, see if this actually can act as a fully functional dock for the Steam Deck. And if it works with the Steam Deck, probably any other PCs you've got as well, portable gaming PCs such as the ROG Ally, etc. So I've got a Crucial, this is an old Crucial P2 2280 drive. It's a terabyte SSD, NVMe drive. We'll plug that in. So just to pop the cover off again, it pops off quite easily. And these rubber grommets, so you can see the two positions here. Again, one is for 2260 drive and the one we're going to be using is for 2280. So because the 2280 is the longer one, we're going to have to remove both of these grommets. And they should just come off by yanking them with a bit of force like so. And I'll get this one off as well. Right, with them off, we're only going to need one grommet on this. So the way this is going to work is the drive should slide in like so. Now I have already pre-formatted this drive, there's nothing on it. I formatted it just in Windows using exFAT file system, which the Steam Deck should support, albeit it's not an optimal file system for Linux, but we should have no problem just to test this out at least anyway. So the drive is in. So the way it works is the grommet, I just slid the grommet onto that little groove where you normally screw NVMe drives in. And then I've pushed it down onto the board, and you can see it's held it perfectly in place. And then the cover is going to go on like so. We're not going to need the other one, so I'll just put that aside. Hopefully I won't lose that. You could probably leave it rattling around in there if you really wanted to. Okay, so let's fire on the Steam Deck. Now before I plug it in, just to show you what I've got here already in terms of storage. If I go to settings and go down to storage, you should see the local storage and also an SD card is what I have in there at the moment, the micro SD and the internal storage. And so if I exit from here, and we'll now plug this in, and hopefully we're going to see the storage pop up. So I've plugged that in. We've got some lights. We've got a light indicator there. And I can also see a light flashing in there. You can see that there on the camera hopefully as well. That is probably going to be the disk status, I'm guessing. And this is probably going to be the power port to pass through power. So let's go through to settings again and see what happens. So settings, storage, and yes, it looks like it's working. So what I can see there now is terabyte drive that I've got in there. So if I click on that, so you can see it says I have to press Y to format the drive to use with Steam Deck. So I'm going to confirm I want to format it. There's no data on there anyway, so we don't really care. And it's done. So I should now be able to install a game on there without any problems. There's currently showing no games on there. I might just try installing one to see what happens. So let's just go to the library. Let's just find any old thing to install. Something that's in my library. Hopefully something that's small. In fact, it doesn't really matter if it finishes installing or not. Okay, let's do that. Right, I'm going to select install, and I'm going to select I want to install it on the hard drive. And as you can see, it's working absolutely fine. So while it's installing, are we getting any flickering? Yeah, that light's blinking away there. So that is a disk activity light in there. No problems whatsoever. Now the next test. So you can see this is ready to go. No signal at the moment. I'm going to plug the HDMI cable in, and let's see what happens there. Okay, So, ta-da! There it is. So this is a fully functional portable dock for Steam Deck. It's going to work on any other gaming PC you have as well. Now, the fact that that's got into no signal is just probably the setup here, but the fact is it does work. We've seen it work. I'll plug it in now again just to see what happens. Clearly something's gone wrong there. Maybe the deck's gone off, I don't know. Yeah, I think the deck's gone off. Okay. Let's try and turn that on again. At one point before I was recording this video, I'll be honest, my Steam Deck died, so that caused me a bit of a delay. Okay, the deck is now back on. Let's just plug it in once more to see what happens. I don't know if that's caused a problem, if it was installing while I removed it, who knows. Hopefully we're going to see a signal there. If not, yeah, it's working. It's working absolutely fine. So there you go. It's a portable dock for your deck. That's the problem here. There's nothing to do with this at all. If this was plugged into a TV, I probably wouldn't be having the signal problems, to be honest. So I'm going to put it down to a problem with either my deck or this setup here. For whatever reason, it keeps dropping the video signal out. And I'm not going to worry too much about it because it works. So immediately we've been able to test that we can use this for external storage and video pass-through, and with that then we can confidently say it's probably going to have no issues using the LAN port on there and also powering the device through a power connector as well. Let's just try that out. So I might have a spare, mind you, I can probably just plug this out. This is not needed anymore, so let's leave that as it is. Let's plug this in. If I plug this in, I should hopefully start seeing some charge. Again, I think my deck's just having some issues here. Clearly it's having issues. Right, it's on again. So I'm going to plug this in and see what happens now. See if I get some charge. Yes, it is showing the device is charging. And the fact that it's not just powering it, the fact that it is actually charging. And this should support, I think it supports passing through 100 watts for charging. I haven't got a 100 watt charger connected here at the moment, though we can see a fairly satisfactory charge time. So it's not one of those devices like the other one I showed you where the pass through for the power is really, really bad. This does seem to be passing through pretty decent. And if I had a tester somewhere, we could probably just check what power is passing through. Let me just try and get that 1 second. Right, so we'll plug this in and see what we're getting as a reading. First things first is I'm going to remove that just to see what this is drawing while it's charging. I'll plug it straight in and I'll get a reading. So this is doing 15 volts, 14.7 volts and 27 watts. So that's what it's drawing while it's charging. Now I'll just let it finish calculating the charging time. We can see it showing 1 hour and 24 minutes. It should hopefully go down to what I had when that was plugged in, which was about 1 hour and 15 minutes. You can see it's going down. So again, about 14.5 volts at 27 watts. Let's get that out. I think we're going to see this being passed through exactly the same. So no issues from a charging perspective, but it's always good to test. The way I'm going to do this now is, I don't know if this is going to cause any other issues, is I'm going to plug it in there. Alright, and then I'm going to plug the power port like so. And what we'll hopefully see is exactly the same. Yep, 14.3 volts, 27 watts, and the charging time is probably going to go down to exactly what it was before. So that is a good test from a power perspective to show that it's not cutting back any power from what we're supplying. The power supply is passing everything it needs to through, so it's probably going to charge the laptop fine. It's charging the deck absolutely fine as well, and any other device you connect into it, it's going to be powering it sufficiently, which is good to see. So I'm just going to get rid of everything here, and then we'll move on to maybe a benchmark test on the PC, just to see how fast, what sort of throughput we're getting from this connection into a USB-C port on the tablet. Right, so I've got Crystal Disk Benchmark running here. I've plugged the power cable in just to make sure it doesn't die whilst I'm doing a test. We've still got the drives in here, so we're going to plug this in, see if we can find the drive. I may need to assign a drive letter to it. It's not coming up there yet, so I can't see the drive here at the moment in Windows. So I'll just, before I do anything else, yeah, I definitely can't see it here either. So it's connected, I've got the power light on. It's probably just a case of having to assign the drive letter to it. So I'm just going to do that quickly. Okay, so it wasn't that I needed to just assign drive letter, because when I had it connected to the Steam Deck, I had to format it for use with the Steam Deck. I've now had to reformat, so I deleted the partition, recreated it and formatted it in Windows, just formatted using NTFS file system. And now I can see the drive, it's available there, letter drive D, it's coming up as a 1 terabyte disk. So what we'll do is we'll just run all the tests and just see what sort of a performance we're getting through from this thing here. Hopefully around I don't know what, I can't remember what this drive is capable of, but the old NVMe's, it should give at least 1 gig read and 1 gig write at least as a minimum. So what I'll do is I'll just pause the video and let the tests run through, and then when they're completed, we'll have a look at the results. So all the tests have completed, and we can see there, looking at the top sort of 2 results for read and write speeds, we can see that sequential 1 meg file, I believe what we're seeing here. So we're using 1 gig file for this test, I believe. Yep. And we're getting a gig per second read and write. So that is promising, and that gives us confidence that when we're using this for something like the Steam Deck for storing games on the external device, we're getting really good transfer speeds. So load times shouldn't be a problem. May not be as fast as the internal disk as expected, but I don't think you can have any significant problems with those sorts of transfer speeds. So really good quality product here from DroiX. Nice to see a really good high quality USB-C dock, which has the expansion port for NVMe and storage, and also the card readers. No doubt they're going to perform equally well as well. 2 C ports, USB 3, I believe this is here as well, an A port, and also 1 gig LAN connection. So when you're connecting your deck or a tablet PC like this or any other device, you've got your LAN port there as well. HDMI out for an additional display, which is a great feature to have as well. Just another really quick test I thought I'd do when I actually finished recording this video, so I'm just squeezing this in quickly. This thing also works as a dock for the Nintendo Switch. So now you've got a portable dock. Now if you've got both consoles, you're taking them with you. One dock that's going to work for the deck and the Switch. Portable dock on the go. Look at this. This is working absolutely fine, as you can see. I've got a controller connected here to this Switch, and it's working absolutely fine with no issues whatsoever. I'm able to play, as you can see. Super. So even more functionality than we thought. Now obviously with the Switch, I don't expect storage to be presented, because I don't think Switch supports external storage via anything other than the SD card, which is fine. But so let's just go to data management, and again we're not going to see that data there whatsoever, because it doesn't support that functionality for external storage. But that's not a problem. The main thing is you can use it as a dock. So how good is that? And it's charging through without any issues, and that needs to happen for the dock to work on a deck on the switch anyway. So it's passing through adequate amount of power to allow you to use this in docked mode. So another plus for this fantastic device. I thought I'd just add that in quickly because it's really important to know just how diverse and functional this dock is. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope you found it useful. If it's a product that you're looking at buying, there are going to be product links in the description below. Please use them to buy this product. If you've got any questions about this, anything that you were looking for that I may not have mentioned, please do ask your questions in the comment section below. I'll be more than happy to try and answer them for you. If you've enjoyed it, as always, please leave a thumbs up to show your support, and also hit that subscribe button in the bottom right hand corner if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, so you can be notified of any new videos I'll be posting. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.